Hey guys, it's Justin again with another airbrushing tutorial. In this episode we're going to talk about pre-shading and post-shading. The first thing I want to do is shout out some patrons for the month. We've got Andy, Gil, SD, Rex, Nick, and Adam. There are links in the description below if you are interested in supporting the channel through Patreon. Sitting here on the back of my computer are 4 spoons. 2 of them are pre-shaded and 2 of them are post-shaded. 2 are done in color and 2 are done in black. Can you tell me which one is which? Stick around towards the end and find out if your guesses are correct. Shading is a very popular technique with a lot of modelers, and can really make your model stand out. I think the most commonly used style of shading is pre-shading, using black as your lining color. This is called edge highlighting or panel shading. Again, it's what I see the most commonly used on gunpla, and in most types of modeling, honestly. The idea is that you're going to prime your piece in a gray or a white, and then you're going to use your airbrush, usually at a lower air pressure, and you're going to trace the hard outside edges of your piece. And then you're going to fill any panel lines and details that you want to shade with that color as well. In this example, we're going to go ahead and start using black. Once you've finished your lines, you'll come in and lay down a thin layer of color as evenly as you can over your outlined piece. The thinner your paint, the better here. So you can slowly build those layers up until you reach the desired blending intensity over these lines. Pre-shading can also be done using colors, like I'm doing here. The process is the same. You usually want a more saturated version of the color you want the piece to be, or something darker or cooler on the color wheel. The next thing we're going to talk about is the less commonly used post-shading, again called panel or edge shading. It serves the same function. The key difference though is that you'll be applying your shading layer like a base coat. So in our first example we're going to use black, and we'll drop our pressure and apply our color over the top, being sure to start in the middle of the panels and work our way out to the edges, leaving those black. With this technique, you are slowly going to build the color saturation until you get it as bright as you want it, before pulling back and blending them all together. This tends to yield a more subtle shade depending on how thin your paint is and what colors you use. Just like with pre-shading, you can also do this with colors. So here's a small clip of me doing a post-shade using a blue base coat instead of black. So, when is the best time to use pre-shading or post-shading? What are the differences? Well, the ultimate answer to that is going to be whatever you feel comfortable using. Personally, I tend to enjoy post-shading a little bit more. I try to reserve pre-shading for when I have a lot of larger open panels with less detail, and I post-shade the more intricate pieces of a model. I just find this easier, but you might prefer the opposite. Experiment and find something that you like. So here's the spoons that we talked about in the beginning of the video. From left to right, we're going to have pre-shade with black. Spoon number 2 was post-shaded using blue. 3 was pre-shaded using blue. And 4 was post-shaded using black. How many of these did you get right? The last thing I want to show off is just a quick reference piece I prepped. Half of this shield is done the pre-shading method, and the other half is done the post-shading method. I used black so that I could maximize my contrast, and then I came in and blocked in my reds on the post-shade side. After that, I pulled back the airbrush and I went back and blended the entire thing all at once until the pre-shade side was where I wanted it to be. As you can see, pre-shading using strong contrast like this, the shade lines are going to stick out a little bit more. But if you want a more subtle shade, the post-shade technique might yield something a little bit less abrupt. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. In the next video, we're going to talk about masking and top coating. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you at the next one. Later.